Just on that, Bob, I really like the idea of, and I'm glad you're clarifying that around. This is not a, the death of the classroom, or you're trying to get rid of the classroom. And I think
No.
often, yeah, and I think often that's the misunderstanding because
Yeah.
it's using the classroom absolutely when it's necessary, where that is the
Love that.
right channel for delivering or and for getting that across. And some people learn better in the classroom, right? So it's
Well, you know,
making,
and that's what's been so unfair to the classroom for years.
yeah,
I always say, look, the 5 moments doesn't bash the classroom. The 5 moments saves the classroom. How's
yeah,
that? Right. And so organization, we call it targeted learning,
yeah,
not that we, of course, you have to give it some name, right? Because classroom for too long, we overteach. I don't know any L&D professional, if you put them in a room quietly and say, look, do we overteach in the classroom? They're like, oh yeah. Do we cover too much stuff? Yeah. Are they too long? Yep. Do we put people in rooms, classrooms for too? Yeah, oh yeah. Do we do cognitive overload? Yep. I mean, all the answers to all those questions are yes. But if you're a one-hit wonder, what else are you going to do, right?
yeah.
So the classroom needs to be freed to do what it does best, right? And that is analysis, group experience, trial and error, coaching and mentoring, remediation, safe failure. These are remarkable things in learning, but cram in 50,000 PowerPoints and schooling something up, just dumping all the stuff and people that they, and again, I know, yeah, we practice in there. I'm not saying we don't do those things. It's not that it's not engaging, but my point is that those are new and more designs, not apply designs.
Right.
Right. And so it has to be every deliverable we do, Nelson, has training in it. Every single one.
Just to before we break down the kind of 5 moments, and for anyone who's not familiar with it, and just to set the scene for what it is, coming back to the kind of, how do you think L&D got away, or how it got away so long working in this fashion? Because just to kind of simplify it, right? If you're an organization and you're working by, let's just say, OKRs, or management by objectives, which has been around for a while, and so you're the head of people, or maybe you've got a seat at a table and you're reporting into C-level. I'm giving you an objective, right? So I feel like if you've ended up in a situation where you've prioritized just distributing information within the classroom, it probably has something to do with the fact that you were given the wrong objective in the first place, right? Some part, it's not just L&D's fault. It's
no.
stakeholders. So why do you think it's been this way for so long?
Well, it's comfortable, right? And we're put in one at the age of about 5. There's a legacy here, right? And that people come to us with. They don't just discover L&D when they get to corporate. They've been in L&D since they were 6. And if I may, a fairly broken model. It's an agrarian. We put people in classrooms and we give them summers off because in the old days they had to like farm a field and harvest stuff. There was no educational prerogative to that, right? And yet we still follow that model to this day, so people can get to Disney in the summer. No offense to Disney, by the way, and so, but you guys, we do so much there's so much legacy in training, Nelson, that has just been going on for so long. We don't look back and go, wait, why did we do this in the first place? Why do we do it this way in the first place? And so if I've learned anything in my 38 years at this, is that turning that ocean liner around is super hard. And when you sometimes challenge the buyer, when someone walks in my room and says, I want 5 days of leadership training, my favorite question is why? And by the way, five. Why are you saying 5? You're obviously assume you're coming in saying that 5. It's like I always say, I don't go to my doctor and say I want 9 Advil because my arm hurts. But they walk into our building all the time pre-prescribing before they even know what the symptoms are.
Yeah.
Right. And so often when I push them back and say, okay, so, but wait a minute, you also want to take our leaders out of work for 5 days. That's a lot. It's going to cost the company a bit. So obviously those 5 days have to be valuable. Why do you think taking them out of work for those 5 days away from their employees and stuff is, and they look back at me, deer in a headlight, like, well, what else would I walk in here and ask for, right? So there's so much legacy here and momentum behind the years, centuries of which how the learning in our culture has been done.